all listeners, learners and programmers. This is Amanpreet Kaur, and today in this interesting YouTube video tutorial, we are going to talk about an exciting part of programming. As we all know, programming is a world of adventure. Coding, programming and sequencing. Everyone loves it nowadays in the digital age. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about a very relevant and a common phenomena used in Java programming. Picture this, a man standing on crossroads, thinking which way to go, whether to go on this way or that way. Don't get confused. They are like the real life situations, the choices that we make in our daily life, where we have to think to be or not to be. If I do this action, what would be the consequence? If not, what would be the other path taken? Now, to resolve all these conflicts and worries, we have a magician with us in Java programming, and that's called if-else constructs, popularly known as if-else statements of Java. It's like the what ifs. What if I take this path? How it will shape my course of action, and what if I don't take that path and how the other path will shape the direction. So this entire coding curriculum is based upon the conditional statements of Java, out of which we are going to focus on if else. So let's quickly delve into the definition, syntax and the snippet of the same. So before we start the syntax of this if else, let's make it simple, let's break it down. It's basically like a digital decision tree wherein we have different branches bifurcating into two different paths. Talking about some relevant real life scenarios. For example, whether to have a pizza or a pasta, whether to have tea or coffee, whether this particular app is giving me the correct direction or not, to install this particular app or whether to go for the other gaming app. A weather forecast app showing you the recommendations based on the weather today, whether it's going to be rainy, cloudy or sunny today. All of these are part of our real life and we daily make these choices. So when these choices are clubbed into a program, what we have to use is a tool which is if-else statement. So after we have understood all these real life scenarios and seen these situations, we are in a position to understand a flowchart which will give us a graphical and a pictorial idea how if-else work for a programmer when we are writing algorithms and programs based on that. As you can have a look at this flowchart, it is clearly stating and depicting there is a condition in the center. The core part of a program here is a condition. If the condition is true, a certain direction is taken, a certain action is performed, but if the condition is false, another direction, another action is executed. Just talking about the if-else and flowchart and all these things with you today, I suddenly remember my early coding days where navigating through if-else was like navigating through a maze. Let me quickly share my early coding story with you, a personal coding story where I experienced a bug while working on an if-else program and how I resolved that and reached the state of the output. So that was basically a vending program wherein we give an input, the process happens and the output is achieved in terms of the items dispensed by the vending machine. But when I was coding that program at an early stage, I found a bug which was preventing me to reach the output. Many hours of debugging, I finally reached the output where I understood that I was doing some error in the else part. Now the else part is that otherwise part. When my condition is false, what is supposed to be done by the machine, that's the else part. Here is a programmer's tip now. I just used the word debugging. Now what is this debugging? So bug basically in a program means error. Debug means to remove the error and debugging means the process of removing an error. So every programmer, every learner, every coder when develops a program comes to a stage where they have so many errors, so many mistakes and obstacles in their program and they have to sit with the code and they have to find the errors. So that process is called debugging. I would love to hear from you all as well. Have you ever encountered a bug in your program? Have you also been in a maze of errors and bugs like I just shared my story with you? Do let us know in comment section where you have encountered a bug and how you have overcome it to reach the output of your code. Now, armed with all these lessons of coding and after you have seen the digital tree as well as the flowcharts, it's time to translate the theory into practice. So here we see a code running where we validate the user input, which is a practical implementation of if-else in a program, wherein a user gives the input, the condition is checked by the machine, or we say it the Java compiler. If the condition is true, then the statements after the if are executed, and if the condition is false, the statements after else are executed. Whichever part of the statements are executed, accordingly the output is generated on the output terminal window. So whether you are a coding master or a learner or just a beginner in this era of Java programming, you would understand this line by line. Another coding practical example I would like to share with you. For example, you want to check whether a user of a certain age is eligible to vote in an election or not. Now here, the age criteria given by the government could be that if the person is 18 years and above 18 years, the person can vote. So what could be the condition here? Yes, scratch your brains and embark on this journey with me to understand that how the conditions are created. Yes, many of you got it right. If the age is greater than or equal to 18, will print that the person is eligible to vote. Else, the person is not eligible to vote. Similarly, we can do it for a person appearing for an examination. Now, if you have understood a very simple program like this, you can move a step ahead where you may input a number and you may want to check whether that number is an even number or an odd number. Now for here, again you have to use your logical head and come up to a condition that if that number divided by 2 gives me the remainder 0, I can conclude that yes, the number is even. Else, which means the number is not giving me the remainder 0 when divided by 2, is an odd number. So here we can use a modulus operator wherein we can divide a number and get to the remainder. I'm sure you are loving all these practical examples. So why not grab your virtual pens and paper and drop some comments with your favorite program of if-else. If you love to have more exercises like this, let us know so that you are ahead in times with your coding sessions. It's time to recap whatever we have learned today in this video. First of all, remember, life is full of decisions and choices. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we have choices to make in our daily life. It could be what you want to scroll on your mobile phone, it could be which app you want to use on your mobile phone, or what content your app will show you on your mobile phone, and how the smart home system will maintain the settings of your choice, how the Alexa will respond to your choices and questions. Everything is full of choices. And these choices are translated into a program using if-else, which is if the condition is true, what is to be done? If the condition is false, what is to be done? So we have seen the definition, we have seen this concept with a flowchart and a digital tree. We also saw a running code that how we can practically perform the programs on if-else. We have also discussed many online and programming exercises examples where we can practice more of these sessions to be a pro programmer in the coming days. If you like this video on if-else conditional statement, don't forget to tune in for the upcoming coding adventures on this channel. Also, we had a polymorphism video on this channel few months back. Go ahead and take a look at that as well. Until next time we meet, happy coding and keep coding with passion and purpose. Thank you so much. See you next time.